राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जनवल्लभ जय गिरवरधारी जय गिरवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय गुरुदेवा श्रील गुरुदेवा उग्रं वीर्यं हरि ओम Tat Sat. So today we shall be discussing from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, entitled The Status Quo, Chapter 27, entitled Understanding Material Nature, Shloka 17. Please recite the invocation along with me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. Priyam Tatsat. Let's recite the shloka along. Devahutiruvacha Purusham Prakritir Brahman Na Vimunchati Karhichit Ananyonyapashayatvat Nityatvadanayoh Prabho. Devahutiruvacha Purusham Prakritir Brahman Na Vimunchati Karhichit Ananyo Hare Krishna Ananyonyapashaya yatvacha Nityatvadanayoh Prabho. Devahutir uvacha Purusham Prakritir Brahman Na Vimunchati Karhichit Ananyonyapashayatvacha Nityatvadanayoh Prabho. Word meaning. Devahuti uvacha, Devahuti said, Purusham, the spirit soul, Prakritiha, material nature, Brahman, O Brahmana, na, not, Vimunchati, does release, Karhichit, at any time, Anyonya, to another, to one another, Apashayatvat, from attraction, Cha, and Nityavat, from eternality, Anayoha, of them both, Prabho, O my Lord. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Maharaj Ki Jai. Sri Devahuti inquired, my dear Brahmana, does material nature ever give release to the spirit soul? Since one is attracted to the other eternally, how is this separation possible? Om Agnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yenam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurun Shri Yuta Padakamalan Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Shri Mate Jayapataka Swamin Iti Namini Namaha Charipadaya Nitai Kripa Pradayane Gaurkatha Damadaya Nagaragramatarini Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Shri Mate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांत नमस्ते जयताम सुरतो पंगोर्मम मंदमतिर्गति मत्सर्वस्वपदाम भोजौ राधा मदन मोहनौ दिव्याद् वृंदारण्य कल्पद्रुमादः श्रीमद् रत्नागारा सिंहासनस्थौ श्रीमद् राधा श्रील गोविंद देवौ प्रेष्ठालीभिः सेव्यमानौ स्मरामि श्रीमान सरसारंभी वंशी वट ततः स्थितः कर्षण वेणुर्स्वनैर्गोपी गोपीनाथः श्रीयस्नः तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरतश्वे नमः पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूप स्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम् आनन्दलीलामय विग्रहाय हेमाभदिव्या छवि सुन्दराय तस्मै महाप्रेम रसप्रदाय श्री चैतन्य चंद्राय नमो नमस्ते मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्री गुरुदीनतारणं जय श्री चैतन्येश्वरं परमानंद माधवं श्री चैतन्येश्वरं वांशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So Hare Krishna to all Vaishnavas. Let's read the ecstasies of Srila Prabhupada in the purport and then we will discuss. Devahuti, the mother of Kapila Dev, here makes her first inquiry. Although one may understand that spirit, soul and matter are different, their actual separation is not possible. either by philosophical speculation or by proper understanding. The spirit soul is the marginal potency of the Supreme Lord, and matter is the external potency of the Lord. The two eternal potencies have somehow or other been combined. And since it is so difficult to separate one from the other, how is it possible for the individual soul to become liberated? By practical experience, one can see that when the soul is separated from the body has no real existence. And when the body is separated from the soul, one cannot perceive the existence of the soul. As long as the soul and body are combined, we can understand that there is life. But when they are separated, there is no manifested existence of the body or the soul. This question asked by Devahuti of Kapila Deva is more or less impelled by the philosophy of voidism. The voidists say that consciousness is a product of a combination of matter, and that as soon as the consciousness is gone, the material combination dissolves, and therefore there is ultimately nothing but voidness. This absence of consciousness is called nirvana in Mayavad philosophy. So here we have come after a long time. We have finished nearly, I think, 70 plus shlokas in the previous chapter, and 44 where the Sankhya Yoga philosophy started of Lord Kapila. And now we've finally come to another question by Mother Devahuti. So in the 25th chapter, she actually had asked 3 questions. The first question started with Aham and Mameti. Then how this whole conversation started was in the 28th shloka of the 25th chapter, she had asked to her son, Lord Kapila, that can you please explain bhakti to me, or the process of bhakti to me, on how we can attain the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Or she was saying your lotus feet. She's saying Lord Kapila. And then in the 29th shloka, she had asked 2 further questions. So there were 2 parts of the question. One is on jnana. She was saying, can you explain me through jnana how I can understand various tattvas? And the second part of the question of the 29th shloka was that how, please explain to me yoga, which is aimed at the Lord for liberation. So result is liberation, but secondary, then bhakti becomes secondary. So for liberation. So she was explaining, or she was asking, can you explain to me the various limbs of yoga? So now we have started that question. So chapter 26 and 27 was addressing this first part of the 29th shloka question, the jnana and tattvas. Jnana in terms of Sankhya Yoga, right? And now she has, from here, so 17, 18, 19 was basically the sub question of the yoga question. Okay. In this, she's asking about how liberation. Now, here liberation is freedom between the gross body and the soul, or the freedom, the liberation or detachment of Prakriti and soul. So let's do a bit of recap. When she asked Bhakti about Bhakti, then Lord Kapila talked about Ananya Bhakti in 25th chapter, right? From shloka 32, or before that, he said that, look, this is the characteristic qualities of Bhakti. And then how do you get bhakti? You do sadhu sangha, satam, prasanga, mama virya samvido. So you do sadhu sangha. And before that, he explained the qualities, characteristic of a sadhu. The primary characteristic doing Shravana Kirtan Vishnu. The secondary characteristic is sadhavaha, shantava, all this, that he's supposed to be grave and everything. And then what does a sadhu do? What is his activities? Then he presented bhakti in two forms, in Raganuga bhakti, spontaneous bhakti, and Vaidhi bhakti. Okay, that becomes the bhakti side. But then she said that, okay, I understand the bhakti as you have approved the process, my dear son, Lord Kapila. But for she became the nimitta matra for people like us, that there are people who are practicing yoga, so, and jnana. But this yoga and jnana means Bhakti Mishra Yoga, Bhakti Mishra Jnana. That means Bhakti mixed with, so here Bhakti Mishra Yoga means Ashtanga Yoga is primary and Bhakti is the secondary element. Okay? And when you say Bhakti Mishra Jnana, Jnana is primary and Bhakti becomes, along with Ashtanga Yoga, becomes the secondary element. So that's what she was trying to ask. Because Lord Kapila declared that if you want to overcome the material world, 41st shloka, 25th chapter, he says, and how overcome what in material world? What all of us living entities do? We always fear. We fear we will lose. We fear our existence will go. We fear that we will lose our material properties or acquisition. That fear. He says, you will only overcome this fear through devotional service, through bhakti. So now he is explaining he was explaining in 26th chapter and this portion of 27th chapter about jnana, Sankhya Yoga. He says how this material world started with the ingredients and how we got enmeshed. So the last, say 14, 15, 16, he's covering the purity of the soul in the state of Bheda Bheda, Achintya Bheda Bheda. Because we are essentially Tatashta Shakti, marginal potency, energy. So then Devavati is now asking, how do these two separate? Jiva and Prakriti. Now, when Lord Chaitanya met up with Sanatana Goswami in Varanasi, so Sanatana Goswami had asked him a couple of questions, in which then Lord Chaitanya explained to him about Krishna Swarupa, about Madhurya Rasa, about Aishwarya Rasa, about Bhakti Rasa. So mellows he was teaching. But first he started with the Jiva. So he wanted to explain the nature of the Jiva. So like we chant 108 rounds. So you should never forget. He started with Shloka 108 in 20th chapter of Madhya Leela of Chaitanya Charitamrit. Jivera Swarup hoye Krishnera Nitya Das. Second line. Krishnera Tatashta Shakti Bheda Abheda Prakash. Now, when you say Bheda Bheda, it means the philosophy which is taught by Lord Chaitanya, Achintya Bheda Abheda Tattva. That means Lord and his energies. So when you say his energies, all energies are inclusive, right from superior eternal energies to his inferior and temporary energies. All energies are included. So the Lord and his energies are simultaneously one and different from him. So that deep philosophy Lord Chaitanya was teaching Sanatana Goswami. So in Shloka 109, he was talking about Surya Amsha Prakasha. He was saying, just like the molecular portion of a sunshine or of a fire is non-different from that of the sun rays or sunshine or sun itself or from the fire, in the same way, the Jiva Shakti is always the part and parcel of Lord Krishna. So there's another beautiful shloka which came in 111, where they were talking about Krishnera Swabhavika Tina Shakti Paranati, that Lord Krishna's natural transformation are three energies. Chitta Shakti, second line of the shloka, Chitta Shakti, Jiva Shakti, and then your Ara Maya Shakti. So first is your Chitta Shakti, which is the spiritual potency, also known as Parashakti. Then is your Jiva Shakti, also known as Kshetragna Shakti. Kshetragna, that we covered in Bhagavad Gita, that who are the two knowers, right? Your soul and the super soul. One is the supreme Kshetragna, the other one is the Tatashta, marginal potency. So Kshetragna Shakti. And then the third portion is your Maya Shakti or Avidya Shakti. Our Shiksha Guru keeps saying that because when our Chandrasekhar Prabhuji keeps asking, why we're always enmeshed in this? Why did Lord throw us in this position? Why isn't he controlling? Why are we always confused? So Shiksha Guru always says, the primary quality is avidya. So because we are right now in avidya portion, but we are marginal potency. We can be in avidya, right? In the material world, we can also be in the spiritual world. So we are like a pendulum. So we are in the spiritual potency and in the in your prakriti, the Maya potency, in the two worlds created by them, right? So we can go up and down. Even like Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, when he explains Dashamula Tattva, and this is mainly on us, Jiva Shakti, how strong, how powerful soul is. So in that also, he's basically talking that as soon as a Jiva Shakti just realizes his connection with Krishna, just that turn, just he faces towards Krishna, right? His whole entire existence changes. The entire perception changes. So once he comes to know, then it will never be confusion. There is this beautiful shloka when I was studying Vedanta Sutra with Venugopal Prabhuji. In Brihan Aranyaka Upanishad or Taittiriya Upanishad, one of this. It is talking about the two birds, which Srila Prabhupada always gives the example in our Bhagavad Gita purport, that there are two birds sitting on a tree. One bird is always eating the fruit, the sweet fruit, and the other bird is basically overseer. Anumanta Upadrishta is overseeing and sanctioning, he's eating. But this particular, then the second shloka is, this bird who's eating the fruit is like Purusha Nimagno. He is an unfortunate, miserable. He is Anisha. The quality of this Jiva is Anisha. Isha means controller. Anisha means non-controller. He is not able to control his destiny fate. And he is always bewildered. And he is always miserable. And the other one is Isha, Anya Isha. He is the controller. So once this Purusha Nimagno turns towards the Lord, his entire existence, it changes. So this is exactly what Srila Prabhupada is trying to bring out towards the end of the purport, that voidism, Shunyavadi, right? What the Mayavad philosophy is, that the reflection of Brahman, impersonal Brahman, is in this material world, and the products of this this reflection is Maya, whose further product is Jiva, and Ishwar is one of the other product, the superior human. So once this consciousness goes that I am the human being, all right, or the God also, his consciousness goes, once this consciousness is khalas, then we go merge into Brahman, and there is no individuality. We become God, but collectively consolidated God. So very strange theory. So here the nirvana is mostly propagated by our Buddhism sect. So they have totally enmeshed and twisted Lord Buddha's negation of karma kanda theory on the Vedas portion. It is known as Uttara portion. Sorry, in the Purva portion. There is Purva portion and Uttara portion. Now, going back to this.
Purva Paksha. Paksha.
Purva Paksha and Uttara Paksha. So Purva Pakshis are the opposite party, correct? So Purva Pakshi. Now, going back to Devahuti's question, what she's asking to Lord Kapila, why she's asking this. Here she's presenting two Shaktis. We talked about three Shakti, will Lord Chaitanya explain? She's explaining two Shaktis. Your Jiva Shakti and second is your Maya Shakti. See, both are Shaktis. But because we are, so there are three Shaktis. So like I am the Jiva, here Maya Shakti, and here is your spiritual Chitta Shakti. So right now I am, my pendulation is towards Maya Shakti. So that's why I'm enmeshed here. Because I'm covered with Avidya, so we are saying Maya has two coverings. Prakshep Atmika covering and Avarana Atmika. Prakshep Atmika covering means spell of delusion. We think that we are this body, and doesn't matter which condition we are sense gratifying eternally. We are very happy in this state, right? We're always happy. And then Avaranatmika is that even if I am in the body of a hog, for example, a pig living in dirt, I will remain eternally in this position. That covering of avidya is there. So two. So me as a Jiva Shakti, I'm pendulated towards the Maya Shakti. So she's saying, how do we separate Jiva from Prakriti? Right? Now, Prakriti, Devi, Hesha Gunamayi. Prakriti is one of the eternal Shaktis also. Swabhavika, Paranati, the transformation, natural transformation of Lord Krishna. Three Shaktis, Tina Shakti, Paranati. Now, the thing is, she only activates when there is material world manifestation. Otherwise, she doesn't bother the Jiva. For example, we are in the spiritual mode right now. Shuddha Sattva platform right now, all of us currently, say 30 minutes, 40 minutes maximum. So here, Maya Shakti is not touching us. So she never interferes when there is devotion to Krishna. So this is why here Lord Kapila is clearly saying that if you practice bhakti, Vedi bhakti, sadhana bhakti also, that is strong enough for us to, for the Jiva Shakti to overcome Maya. Okay, but it will come. Again, he will pick up the topic of Tivrena Bhakti Yogena Mana Mayar Pita Sthiram. Shloka 44 of 25th chapter. But why are we doing Tivrena Bhakti? Why? Tivrena Bhakti means Ananya Bhakti. Say, why are we doing this? Because Nishreya Saya. That means we are doing activities which are beneficial. We Jiva Atmas are always in the material world looking for benefits. So this is why when the Mameti Aham and Mameti shloka started, question from Devahuti, the first thing he talked about Lord Kapila in the 13th shloka of 25th chapter, he talked about yoga, three types of yoga, in which he was saying that this yoga of the Atma, right, Atma Gyan, they can be practiced in three ways: through bhakti, through Ashtanga yoga, through Jnana yoga, that is Sankhya yoga, right? He explained that, but he says these three are beneficial. But then now he's comparing the three. First he presented bhakti, then he's presented over 26 and over 27 chapter Sankhya yoga, and now he's going to slowly start presenting, he presented Jnana yoga, Jnana, Sankhya yoga. Now he's going to present the aspect of Ashtanga yoga. Now it is going to starting with her question, unveiling. Let me go to that shloka 1 second, please. The beautiful shloka from 25th chapter, shloka 13. Nishreyashaya, beneficial. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Yoga Adhyatmikaha Pumsam. So Adhyatmika yoga, three types. And because of this 13th shloka, this is known as the seed verse, the seed shloka, by which the entire 8 chapters will be taught by, is being taught by Lord Kapila, starting from 25 all the way to chapter 32. So yoga adhyatmika pumsam. Then mato nishreya sayame. Then atyanta uparati. Uparati means detachment. That by doing this adhyatmika yoga, how will you get detachment? The detachment from what? From dukhasya cha sukhasya cha, from material distress and material happiness. So this is the question which Devahuti is asking. I'm just presenting previous shlokas because we should let Lord Kapila unveil the responses, the answer. So here the translation again of this 13th shloka is, the personality of Godhead answered, the yoga system which relates to the Lord and the individual soul, which is meant for the ultimate benefit of the living entity and which causes detachment from all happiness and distress in the material world, is the highest yoga system. So he's presenting a gradation, gradual what you say, consciousness development, and he's also giving the Tivra Bhakti, the Ananya Bhakti also. So I'll end my class here. If anyone has any questions, we have a Siksha Guru here. You can present your questions here. Otherwise, we will move to Rudra Geet. Hare Krishna, all Vaishnavas.
Do you want to go for Rudra Geet or you want to go to Harinam Kirtan?